As you guys already know, the announcement for Netflix's Resident Evil show series has been canceled. Uh, I don't know what the showrunner, the creator of the show, was trying to do. Well, I can tell you why it failed. It failed because it seemed it had nothing to do with the games. At the same time, the creator wanted it to be like supernatural. They already have plans for like the seasons, wanted to make it go up to season 30. It's like, no, it's not gonna happen. Second of all, you can't make a show like another show. You can't do that because, Resident Evil is its own story. Supernatural is its own story. Resident Evil is a video game. Supernatural is an original series by CW, which is an associate production company with Warner Brothers. The biggest mistake I would feel is that the reason why live action films or TV shows don't always work is because 9 out of 10 of the time, it's the actors that they cast, and a good amount of the time is because they're changing the story so much that it seems it has nothing to do with the concept that it came from. Like, for example, this, as you can see here, looks like it's a reference from Resident Evil 4 or Resident Evil 7, Biohazard 7. So you see this house, you're thinking a Village Vibe or something else, or like the Spencer's Mansion, things like that. You can look at this and you see what looks like a Zero or a zombie there. That looks cool. And then you look at this, a house. Those posters, those promotional posters, have nothing to do with the series. Like I said before, another thing was the showrunner said, well, he didn't want to bring the characters in just to bring them in. He wanted to bring them in when it was time to. If he would have brought them in, like if he would have done what Infinite Darkness was, maybe a live action version of it, or maybe a continuation of that arc, it probably would have worked. Why was this not a success? A lot of people are asking, well, why is The Witcher a success? Because Geralt is, in the terms of Geralt is in the books, is going by the books. That series is going by the books. So, of course, they're going to cast people. If they're going by the books, they're going to cast people, like that. I mean, like, for example, Geralt is white. So they got someone who's white. Like I said, they went by that. I know a lot of people were going after the fact that Wesker was black when really in reality in the videos he was white, which is very, very true. I mean, I give props towards, I'm all for diversity and equality, but there are just some things where you just gotta go by the book. You want a character that's black or gay or, a girl or things like that. You gotta make a new character. And when you do make a new original character, an OC, an original character, and you're going to put them in a story that everyone knows about, you got to find that balance to where that original character doesn't take so much of the spotlight, but at the same time has enough time to do character development and things like that, so that they don't outshine the original characters, like the original characters of that. You don't want that, or the new character. You're going to have to make a new character, So in a new character, things like that. So, I mean, I got nothing against the actors like Lance Reddick. Awesome actor. Fantastic actor. I think what I feel like, I could have, if I was able to do what they did, I could have made it so much better. Like I said, last name Wesker. Okay, he has nothing to do with the Wesker we know, Albert Wesker. He has nothing to do with that. He probably just took the name as the persona because of the kids. The kids knew their father by Wesker, so he probably took that persona to take care of Jade and Billy. You know, the series should not have done the whole past and present thing. Fast forward to the future, rewound to the past. I think that all these girls should have been original characters. So, for example, Billy and Jay, they should have been like 14-year-old girls, their own characters, and something was going. They unleashed the outbreak. In Raccoon City, New Raccoon City. Um, and then you have the older version of Jade, a total different character that is, basically trying to fix what's already damaged in the outside world. Obviously, not Raccoon City has luxuries and is run by Umbrella Corporation. Other parts are not run by Umbrella Corporation, but it is in fact observed. There is observation of that. And when Umbrella wants to hunt someone down that is a threat to their cause, they will hunt that person down. It would have been cool if, Leon would have came in, probably, heard of what, older Jade was doing, like another character, and wanted to help out. Or Chris, the BSAA, heard what was going on, wanted to help her out. Maybe Rebecca Chambers caught word of what Jade was doing, called up Chris and said, "Hey, Chris, make it your mission to go get her. She has something that we may need, the other piece of the puzzle that could help us out." I'm sure Ada would have been trying to find her because the real Wesker, would have told her, you know, go get the. I think that would have been awesome, seeing these characters, Claire Renfield, Chris Renfield, Jill Valentine, Leon Kennedy. I think it would have been awesome to see these characters interact with the new characters. It would have been so much better. Like I know Capcom has told when the original production films of Resident Evils, which I fairly did enjoy, but I understand why not many people liked. I think it would have been a heck of a lot better if they did it that way. I mean, of course, Capcom did say, don't make it like the games because we want people who aren't fans of the games to like the movies. Well, the thing of it is, people who play the games would like to be a part of that too, a part of that demographic. But yeah, why did it fail? I mean, too much. Too much over, it became nothing. It seemed nothing like what the games were. It just seems like they took the name of the games and tried to turn it, just like a promotional value, a promotional gag. Why was Resident Evil Infinite Darkness successful? Because you had the original characters, and also CGI motion capture was a bonus. Not only that, that arc takes place around maybe 7-8 years after the events of the first three Resident Evil games. Claire and Leon are like in their 20s, uh, possibly 27, 28 years old, things like that. And they cross paths again at the White House because Claire is an aide for Pananston, and Leon is an agent, a newly recruited agent for the DSO, for the president, um, because of his heroism for saving Ashley Graham, the president's daughter, in Resident Evil 4. So that also takes place after Resident Evil 4. So like I said, it takes place after a certain amount of time from Resident Evil 2 and maybe a couple years after Resident Evil 4, excuse me. So yeah, why was that successful? Because it went by the games, pretty much. You did have the Tyrant virus. You did see a reference toward Tricell because Umbrella, did go bankrupt and it was a pharmaceutical company. If they would have kept that up with this Resident Evil series, like Umbrella now trying to come back and get their losses back, the Joy thing, that would have been cool because the Joy medicine that is to help with depression and things like that does have traces of the T virus. And if people took enough of that Joy, they could become, because it's slowly but surely little increments of the T virus slowly mutating the person, they have to take like what, 20,000 pills to get to it, something like that. That would have been cool to see, like, okay, how many does this have to, you know what I mean? That would have been cool. But it is what it is. It didn't work. It didn't work. The thing of it is, they didn't go by the books. I don't think they read the material. I think like these posters that were right there were probably just for, promotional values to get people like, oh, I want to see that, kind of like a trickery kind of thing. I don't know. It is what it is, folks. And honestly, when I saw, like, okay, the first episode, all right, you got me, but let's see what happens. I'm still skeptical, still iffy about it. And as I continued to watch this series, I started not to care about it. At this point, I was like, can you get to the point? The only time you ever hear, well, you do see a lot of reference, but you ever hear an actual character is Ada Wong, Fine Ada Wong. You do see Lisa Trevor, but that's only if you've played the games or heard of her story, that's the only way. So it wasn't surprising that, it got canceled, because you kind of knew. You had, I think after the first episode, you had a feeling this is not going to last long. It will be a miracle if they are signed up to season 2. But you're trying to make it into another show. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. You never make a movie or a show and try to make it like another movie, another successful movie, or another successful show. It's not going to work. It's never going to work. It's never worked before, and it's never going to work. It doesn't work, Shows have to be shows, And if you get the people that feel like, okay, this is trying to be another thing, then it's not going to work. I mean, another things that didn't work was like another kind of show that canceled. It was on the CW, and it was called Tom Swift. Now the thing of it is, I think mainly the reason why it got canceled and why it didn't get many views as it did was because no one knew, Tom Swift. No one knew. Everyone knew who Nancy Drew was. Everyone knew the Hardy Boys were. But Tom Swift was an inventor, was a book series of a young man who was an inventor back in 1910. And he was within the universe, or within the great stories of the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew. But the thing of it is, you're trying to make a show of a character that no one knows about, that was written back in 1910. And at the same time, I think what was a factor is, like I said, I'm all for equality. I'm all for diversity. I'm all for that stuff. But how you're going about it is basically the message. How you're going to go about it, you have to make sure that the message you want to convey is the message that's being conveyed. Because if you're just force feeding down someone's throat to go, this is the character, this is what I want you to, no one's going to budge. It's not going to work. When I saw the trailer for it, again, I didn't know who Tom Swift was. After it got canceled, I researched who Tom Swift was, because I wasn't sure if it was an original character or it was based off some book series or something. And last time I checked in the book, it was white. And here, again, when I saw the trailer for Tom Swift, I was like, the first thing that came to my mind was, oh, it's a black MacGyver. It's a guy who's like MacGyver, only he's a colored person. How's that gonna work? I never watched the show to find out, because it didn't interest me. And not only that, the vibe I got was, this is forced. This feels forced. That's what I felt when I saw the trailer for This Feels Forced. When I did even more research, it was like, oh, he's colored and he's gay. You guys are putting way too much. Again, I'm all for equality, I'm all for diversity. But there's a time and a place. And basically, the message that I felt was being conveyed was, it was forced. You're forcing me to accept this as the new today. You cannot do that. There are things that people have to gradually ease into. Because if you're just bombarding them with it, they're not going to budge. We're all entitled to our feelings, and I felt that Tom Swift, the whole direction that they were putting Tom Swift was forced. And it was just like this show, it just feels like everything was forced. You cannot expect someone who knows the games, who knows the story, to jump on with open arms with this story. Because obviously it didn't seem like it had anything to do with the story. It just seems like they just took certain elements from the stories, from the franchise, and they put it in a bowl, mixed it up, and said, here's your cake. The cake tastes like shit. I'm sorry, but it didn't work. It didn't work. That's why these shows, these movies, these books, if you're gonna make it you're gonna make it from the video game, you're gonna make it from the book, you're gonna make it from another movie, you have to watch the movie. You have to play the games and you have to read the books. You can't just say, oh yeah, we're gonna change this guy and we're gonna make him gay. Again, if you want original characters, if you want a gay character, if you want a colored character, if you want, I don't know, an Asian character that can talk to animals and things like that, make a new character. Do not take an original character that we know and love. Like, don't take Captain America and make him gay. That's just stupid. I have some friends that I know that are of the LGBT community, and even they themselves say, we're not happy with this. We're happy, we appreciate that you want to include us in the community into your stories, but please make a new character. Please don't take an original character that we all know and love and try to change their origin, try to change their sexuality just to please us. That's not what we're about. Things like that. I don't know. Like I said before, I'm all for diversity and I'm all for equality. What do I really feel about this Resident Evil series being canceled? Honestly, I feel like it should not have been. Because as I'm watching, it just feels, some episodes, okay, were good. Okay, I do see what they were going with that. But it just seems the whole thing was forced. Like, they didn't let the cake, bake enough or bake a good amount of time. It just didn't seem like they took the ingredients and they measured it out very well. It just seems like they were taking random ingredients and hopefully praying for the best that it would continue. No, like I said, I'll give them A for effort, but I'll give them an F for execution because they went about it wrong. I'm sorry. They went about it wrong. And I have a feeling a lot of other people do feel the same way I do. Maybe slightly differently. But again, I mean, too much race change. I don't know how to say it. Too much. I don't know how to say it. It's just like I said, too much involvement in race. There we go. Too much involvement in race and things like that. Too much involvement of these girls that obviously who are original characters, but just they took too much away from the story in my execution. Also, there was a lot of contradictions within the story. The past and the future were not, the information that both sides had were not, coinciding together. They were contradicting each other, things like that. So, that's just me. I mean, if they were to do another, because I heard Death Note, which the live action Death Note Netflix did, I really, really did enjoy. I understand that a lot of people were pissed off. Like, for example, they casted L as a black dude, as black. But then again, if you read into his origin, he's not Japanese. He likes Japanese candy. He's an Englishman. All right, okay. But like I said, I'm always those people who I can look past a person's race. I can look past the person's gender. Because my main question is, can you deliver the goods? Can you do this character justice? That's all I care about. Can you deliver the goods? If you can deliver the goods, great. If not, you lost me, bub. You lost me. You just lost me with the performance-wise and bringing this character. Like, that's what you lost me at. For example, what good examples can I give you? Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, Samuel L. Jackson is a badass mofo. He can play any character and he will still be a badass. Good guy, bad guy. Not only that, Nick Fury is known to be a code, but even if it wasn't a code, all I can see is Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. Don't get me wrong, David Hasselhoff, when he placed the first ever live action version of Nick Fury, he did a good job. This was back in the 90s, and the 90s could only do so much. I mean, we were limited, but we were using what we had and turning it into gold. I'm a 90s kid. I grew up in the 90s. What can I say? But Samuel L. Jackson, badass mofo. Awesome, a badass mofo playing a badass character. Awesome. Again, he delivered the goods. The same thing as this gentleman. I don't know. What was his name? He played Commissioner Gordon. And Commissioner Gordon has been played many times by various actors. And yes, he is white. But you know what? Like I said, I can look past a person's color. I can look past their gender and go, can you deliver the goods? And this gentleman who played Commissioner Gordon, Jeffrey Wright, I mean, he did such a great job. He was very laid back. And Commissioner Gordon, I mean, and obviously the movie takes place Bruce Wayne's second year as Batman. So you're starting off with a very young Batman. While the other Batmans we've seen are either have already been under the cowl, have been in the cape for like good 10 years, towards, he started off fast forward 5 years later, 10 years later, So you're not really getting the early stages of how he became the Batman, the detective we know and love, And with that, you already see the bond between him and Commissioner Gordon, I really like the bond because you kind of see the bond really good to a point where the foundation of trust is steadfast, is in Justice League, when Commissioner Gordon is given, in this one, Commissioner Gordon is being played by J.K. Simmons, who is a brilliant actor, badass mofo as well. If you guys seen him in Counterpart and Patriots Day, you would know. You would know. For a gentleman of his age, he kicked ass. Really good. Like, awesome. Like, wow. And then Ben Affleck as Batman. So in one scene, he's given like a sketch that a kid gave, thinking that it's Batman. Batman's gone crazy. Superman's dead. He's gone crazy. And he goes, I've known this guy for 20 years. I think I know him long enough and know him well enough to know he's not going crazy. I'll talk to him, and he trusts him. And then in this movie, in the Batman, Batman asked, "Do you trust me?" Because they went to go look for the thumb drive. He asked, "I barely even know you, man. It's been 2 years. I barely even know you. If I didn't feel like this was a good idea, I would not be here." And he even says in another part, because Batman asks him, "Do you trust this person that they were talking about?" Because it was after he escaped from the police. He goes, "I trust you." He goes, "I trust you. Like, I trust you more than this dude." So, like I said, and like I said with Lance Reddick, okay, I can look past that. I can look past, again, race, gender, all that stuff. I can look past that. Can you deliver the goods? He delivered the goods all right. I just feel like it wasn't for that character. You know what I mean? Did he do a bad job? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Again, it would have been better if, he took the persona as Wesker, but he wasn't Wesker. He took the persona because of the kids. The kids knew their father's name was by this, and the fact that they were born by surrogate mothers, it could easily have gotten away. He could have easily have gotten away with it. And the real Wesker was after them because they had a certain gene in them. That would have been an awesome concept. But it is what it is, folks. It is what it is. I mean, it just, with this show and all the other examples of what I've used for it, feels forced. And, yeah, that's me. So that's going to be it for today, guys. Sorry if I kept on rambling and trying to make points left and right. If you made it this far in this video, great, awesome, you are awesome. If not, that's okay, because like I said, I'm only voicing my opinion and trying my best to make sure that you guys understand my meaning. So, hope you guys have a wonderful day. Like, subscribe, favorite, share, do whatever it is you guys do, and be safe out there. Okay, guys?